These are the famous deaths, tragic ends, and bizarre Hollywood stories that just don't sit right. Let's take a closer look at 8 famous celebrity deaths that were called peaceful, but may have been anything but. Famous actor, comedian, and America's favorite dad from Full House was found alone in a Florida hotel room, reportedly dead in bed. The official story? He slipped, hit his head, and quietly passed. But the autopsy showed multiple skull fractures. Not a bump, but a blow strong enough to crack his entire head. The kind of trauma you'd expect from a violent attack or a car accident, not a stumble. There was no blood, no struggle, no sign of impact, and he was found lying peacefully, almost too peacefully. Investigators couldn't explain how the injuries occurred. There were no cameras in the hallway, no sounds heard by neighbors. Was he the victim of an overlooked assault? This is one of those shocking celebrity stories that ended with a bizarre death. That still doesn't sit right. When Kill Bill star David Carradine met an untimely end in a Bangkok hotel closet, early reports tried to downplay it. Natural causes, they said, until the photos leaked. He was hanging by a rope, hands tied above his head. Authorities quickly blamed a risky act gone wrong, but the details didn't match. The bindings, the positioning, the lack of forensic evidence. Even Carradine's own family believed foul play was involved. Adding to the unease, he had been researching secretive martial arts organizations and powerful criminal networks. Was he silenced for what he knew? Or was it just a tragic end in a foreign country? Either way, his death became one of the most suspicious Hollywood exits of all time. To this day, his mysterious death raises questions and suspicion. Brittney Murphy, the famous Hollywood starlet who faded too fast. Bright, quirky, and beloved, Brittney Murphy seemed to have it all. But behind the scenes, she was struggling. Acting issues, rumors of isolation, and a marriage that raised red flags. Her death was officially pneumonia, strange enough for a healthy 32-year-old famous celebrity. But then, her husband tragically died the same way, just 5 months later, in the same bed, in the same house. Investigators whispered about toxic mold, poisoning, or even much worse. Her father later conducted independent tests and claimed toxins were found in her hair and blood. So why didn't police investigate further? The tabloids couldn't keep up with the shocking end to her story. This wasn't just a flu that turned fatal. This was a double tragedy that still feels like another tragic Tinseltown story that just doesn't sit right. Dorothy Kilgallen, the reporter who knew too much. Dorothy Kilgallen was more than a famous TV personality. She was one of the only journalists allowed to interview Jack Ruby, the man who killed Lee Harvey Oswald. She publicly stated she didn't buy the official JFK assassination story. She was writing a book and had reportedly told friends she'd uncovered explosive information about a government cover-up. Then one morning, she didn't wake up. The official cause was a barbiturate overdose. But there were problems. She was found in a different room than she normally slept in. Her notes were gone. Her book draft, missing. No autopsy photos were ever released. No toxicology deep dive. Some say she was murdered by forces afraid of what she might publish. What began as a dream career spiraled into a tragic end, with more questions than answers. Veteran actor Albert Decker was found dead in his bathroom, bound, gagged, and surrounded by lipstick messages scrawled across his naked body. Police called it an autoerotic mishap. But what about the missing money? The locked door, the eerie precision of the scene? His fiancée who found him said it looked staged. She was convinced it was a murder designed to look like a scandal. Friends believed he was targeted for his political beliefs. Decker had once served in the California legislature and spoken out against corruption. The case was closed in days, but the whispers never stopped. His rise was meteoric, but a suspicious, untimely death shattered it all. Marilyn Monroe, loved and adored by all. She was the most photographed woman in the world, and perhaps the most controlled. In 1962, actress Marilyn Monroe was found dead in her Brentwood home, reportedly surrounded by pill bottles. The verdict? She took her own life. But let's rewind. She'd spoken to friends that day. She had meetings scheduled. The timeline made no sense. No diary, no phone records, multiple people entering and exiting the house before police arrived. She was romantically linked to both JFK and RFK, and some say she was becoming a liability. What secrets did Marilyn know, and who made sure she wouldn't tell them? Even now, her death remains the ultimate Hollywood mystery. No warnings, no goodbyes, just a sudden death that left fans reeling. At just 36, her untimely death shocked Tinseltown. Thelma Todd, a body in the garage, and no answers. In 1935, Thelma Todd was a rising comedy actress and savvy businesswoman. She ran a popular cafe, starred in hits with the Marx Brothers, and had no known enemies, publicly. But her body was found in her garage, slumped behind the wheel of her car, dead from carbon monoxide poisoning. She had a black eye, a bloody nose. She was locked out of her own house. Rumors swirled that she had refused a shady business deal with mob associates. The LAPD called it an accident. Case closed. But her mother said it was murder, and so did half of Hollywood. Thelma Todd's death wasn't just sad, it was a bizarre death that still has no solid explanation, decades later. Some deaths are called peaceful, but if you listen closely, the truth still screams beneath the silence. Each one of these tragic stories hides pain, fear, and in some cases, evidence of much more. Which of these tragic ends has more to the story? Drop your theory in the comments. Subscribe for more true stories from the dark side of fame, only on Hollywood After Dark.